Do you believe that a 75-year-old man can still jog every morning, lift weights regularly, and do hundreds of push-ups without getting tired? Not an athlete, not a celebrity, just an ordinary old man, living in the ordinary world like everyone else. But there is something about him that makes even young people take their hats off to him. Today, you will hear a story, not to shock, but to inspire. The story of a man who does not accept old age as an end. On the contrary, he sees it as the beginning of a new journey. At the age of 60, he started from scratch.
No elixir.
No modern technology, only a will and perseverance every day. 15 years later, he is a symbol of strength and spirit, a living example for all of us, whether we are 20 or 70. What about you? What age are you? Have you ever thought, I can still change right now? If this story resonates with you, leave a comment. I am ready to start my journey. And don't forget to share the video to spread the inspiration to more people. He is David, a 75-year-old man, living peacefully in the green suburbs of Vancouver, Canada. His small house is nestled in a pine forest, where the morning dew gently spreads, and the birds chirp as if accompanying the slow pace of life. But contrary to that pace, his day begins in an energetic way. At 4:30 a.m., when many people are still sleeping, David wakes up, folds his blanket, drinks a cup of warm water, and starts to warm up his body. After a few warm-up moves, he leaves the house, takes the first steps on the small, foggy trail, starts to jog regularly 5 kilometers every morning, overcoming gentle slopes, passing endless green fields. When the run ends, he does not rest as you might think. He turned around and entered the homemade gym, located in the corner of the backyard. A place with an old wooden roof, but full of determination. There was no modern machinery, just rusty iron bars, ropes, and old truck wheels. Each item was assembled by his own hands with creativity and perseverance. For him, each time he lifted a weight was a step forward. Each drop of sweat was proof that age cannot stop a spirit of steel. And that is Mr. David, a living symbol of resilience, with a simple but profound message. But you know, David's life wasn't easy. 15 years ago, when he had just turned 60, a milestone that many people start thinking about retiring, recuperating. For him, it was the darkest moment of his life. During a routine health check, the doctor took the results and gently said, "You have high blood pressure, very high cholesterol, and are losing muscle mass. Your heart is no longer stable enough for strenuous exercise. Rest. Don't push yourself anymore." He was speechless. Back home, he sat silently in the small kitchen, his hands trembling, holding a cup of tea that had been cold for a long time. Outside, the wind was still blowing, but inside him, there was a cold silence that choked him. He looked in the mirror, a man who had visibly lost weight, his shoulders slumped, his eyes dull. He felt like he was disappearing. He used to be a nature lover, a hiker, a biker all over Vancouver with friends. But now, just one step up the stairs, he felt out of breath and dizzy. The thought kept repeating, is this what old age is all about? Should I just sit still and wait for things to get worse? But then, one day he stood up, looked deep into himself, and decided, no. He chose to go against the grain. He didn't wait for the decline. He didn't accept defeat. He started with the smallest things, a few stretches in the bedroom, a short walk in front of the house. Then gradually, he went further, did more, and got stronger every day. Though his shirt was soaked with sweat, though his body ached, he kept going. Because he knew, if you want to live fully, you must fight against your own resignation. And that is the beginning of the miraculous journey of change you are about to witness. David started not with anything big. No gym, no fancy equipment, no mentor. Only one thing, determination to change. No weights. He used scrap metal, old bricks, pipes, and rope to make his own exercise equipment. He calibrated each weight with water and ice to achieve the right weight. He tied each rope to a wooden pole to simulate a lat pull-down. No trainer. He went to the library and borrowed books on fitness for the elderly. Every night, he spent an hour watching instructional videos from doctors and experts on YouTube, taking notes on each movement, learning how to breathe properly, the right posture, and a suitable exercise schedule for people with underlying conditions. He says, I started with a 10-minute walk every morning. After 3 months, I dared to pick up a weight, actually just a 1-liter bottle of water. But then day by day, I did more. Now I feel stronger than when I was 30. And the amazing thing is, science is on his side. According to research from Harvard Medical School, gentle, regular exercise every day helps stabilize blood pressure, thanks to dilating blood vessels and improving blood circulation. Reduce blood fat through increased lipid metabolism. Prevent muscle loss in older adults, a condition called sarcopenia, by activating muscle groups through resistance activity, even if it's as simple as lifting a water bottle or stretching the body. Exercise also improves memory and mood by stimulating the production of endorphins and increasing blood flow to the brain. A study by the University of British Columbia, UBC, Canada, near where David lives, also showed that older adults who exercise regularly have better brain function, significantly reduced risk of dementia and depression compared to those who are sedentary. So, David's journey is not only an inspirational story, but also a living proof that science has said it, but David is a real person, real work, proving it to be true. After all the physical efforts, what people admire most about David is not his strong biceps or his legs that are still as strong as a 30-year-old man, but his incredibly youthful spirit. Even though he is 75 years old, he still lives as if he were in his 20s, always curious, always wanting to explore, always learning. Every day after practice, he sits by the window holding an old notebook and an iPad, learning something new. Some days it is a breathing exercise from Indian yoga. Some days it is a lesson on cardiovascular nutrition. Some days it is simply a new word in French, because he wants to train his memory and not let his brain retire. Then one day, he looks in the mirror, smiles and says to himself, if I can do it, then maybe people my age need to be motivated too. And so Mr. David opened a small YouTube channel himself, not to become famous, but to pass on the faith to his generation. In a corner of his simple living room, he placed his old phone on the bookshelf, adjusted the angle, prepared the lighting by opening the window wide to let in natural sunlight, and then he started filming in a simple way without elaborate editing. It was just him, in simple workout clothes, instructing the movements of stretching, breathing, walking in place, with a gentle smile and the familiar saying, don't worry if you can only do a little today. Tomorrow you will do more. We are never too old to start over. There were comments from all over the world, grandfathers, grandmothers, even young people, saying that they had started following him and found themselves living more positively every day. And so, from an old man who had faced illness, David became a teacher, a friend, a living inspiration, helping countless people get up from the sofa to take the first steps towards true health and joy. Time is something that no one can hold on to. It comes as lightly as the wind and goes as quickly as the sunset at the end of the day. With old age, many people choose to slow down, sit still, and watch everything change. They believe it is time to rest, accept illness, wait for a peaceful ending. But Mr. David does not think so. For him, old age is not a time to wait for death, but a time to live deeply, to live selectively, to live most meaningfully. Because he understands one thing clearly: we cannot control age, cannot stop gray hair, or stop time, but we can absolutely decide what our body will look like, how our mind will live, at the age of 70, 80, or even 90. For him, every day is an opportunity, not to be better than anyone else, but to be better than yesterday. He wakes up with a simple yet profound belief that if today he can walk 100 meters further, exercise for one more minute, laugh one more time, then today is a day worth living. In a recent video sharing, he looks straight into the camera and smiles. "I don't know how much longer I have left to live, but I live every day as if it were my last. Not to worry, but to make the most of it, so that I am always better than yesterday, even if it is just a little bit." And it is that way of life, that spirit, that has made him a role model not only for the elderly, but also for young people who are forgetting the value of every breath, every step, every moment of being in this world. You see, David is not an athlete. He is not a superhero. He is just a man like everyone else, who was sick, who was weak, who was afraid, but chose to stand up and turn old age into the most brilliant period of his life. And now, it's your turn. If this story has touched you, do one simple but meaningful thing. Share this video. If you believe that nothing is impossible, age cannot limit, a burning will. Whether you are in your 20s, full of energy, or 70, slowing down, remember, it's never too late to change, and a new journey can always begin today. Thank you for listening to this story with all your heart. Wishing you good health, peace, and continued progress. See you in the next videos. And don't forget, every day is an opportunity to live better than yesterday.